came into
Me
my
a
mind.
cat, right?
Yeah.
Is that because I'm nosy or because I bob up every now and then?
Listen, that's it. Yeah, I can just see Alison as a meerkat. Oh, what's going on over there? Yes. So what kind of pet would you give me then?
Ooh, now
Ooh.
then. What would I give you?
Putting you on the spot.
I know.
Yeah.
What about something like a nice cuddly panda bear?
Oh, I'd love a panda.
Yeah.
But
Take
they're
a lot of
vicious,
bamboo.
aren't
Are they a
they?
bit, yeah, so I'm trying to think of a bear that's not vicious, because I wasn't going to give you a grizzly bear,
Yeah.
because that would be too vicious. But
Yeah.
I was trying to think of something that's a bit more cute and cuddly. So
Yeah. I've actually seen pandas when I was
perhaps,
in
what about an
Thailand.
orangutan that you can
Oh, that can give you a great big hug.
hug?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I'll think about swinging through the trees now, like an orangutan. We digress again.
We're digressing again. So,
Yeah.
shall we talk about some techniques that
Yeah.
you can do at home? So if you're feeling anxious at home, because obviously I think with anxiety, one of the things is sometimes it can roll from one thing to another. So you might get over one thing that's made you feel anxious and worried, and then something else comes along, and it might come along quite quickly. And it might well be that you're at home, and but it's when you're at home that you're feeling worried and anxious. So we need to let's talk about some things we can do at home.
Okay, so things we can do at home. So when things kind of snowball like that, don't they? And we end up with more than one worry that we're kind of anxious about, aren't we? And I think about maybe hanging them out on a washing line.
Yes.
And looking at them individually. And then we can kind of prioritise them and look at them and think, okay, I've hung all my washing out on the line, or all my worries on the line. Is that something I need to be worried about right now?
Yeah.
Which worry do I need to prioritise? So that we're actually looking at them rather than the washing being in our head like a washing machine going round and round. And then if we pull them out onto a washing line, we can actually visualise them and see the worries and see whether or not is that a worry that I need right now, or can I put that to one side and worry about that next week. So that's always a good one.
Because I always have, my washing line is one of these old-fashioned ones that you can pull up, the air ones in the kitchen that you can pull up to ceiling, and so you hang your worries on the washing line, and if they're things that you want to try and forget about for a while, you can imagine pulling them up to the ceiling out of sight, but they're still there. It's not like we've said that you know,
well, they haven't disappeared.
They're there.
Yeah.
We're acknowledging that they're there, but we've just tried to put them out of our mind for a short while, and we can bring them back down when we need to deal with them.
Mine's more like bunting that goes along like this. So the ones that are further up the bunting are the ones we don't need to concentrate on now, and the ones lower down are the ones that we can look at.
And the other thing I always talk about is sometimes stuff comes into our head that really is rubbish, and you just think, why on earth am I thinking that? That's just silly and ridiculous. And what I say with those is you imagine you're writing those worries on a piece of paper, and you can either imagine throwing them directly into a fast flowing stream or wrapping them around a brick and dropping them off the end of a pier into really, really deep water, and they just disappear. And that's sort of giving you permission just to try and get rid of that what you might think is an unnecessary thought. It might be that you've rationalised it through and you just think, well, that's just rubbish, and why am I thinking that? Because that just isn't going to happen. That's quite irrational, and sometimes we are able to rationalise that, and that's why I say if you can try and imagine getting rid of them.
Yes, those are good ways, but we can write them down on paper. So I always say write them down, and then I get people to either burn them, so go outside in your back garden and burn the piece of paper, or you can bury them. So you can bury them in your garden physically. Yeah. So you're actually physically getting rid of that piece of paper. So if you write it on the piece of paper, and you can either burn it, I get people to write letters and they'll burn those, or they can bury them. Yeah. And burying them, and then slowly they do disintegrate into the. We're being quite environmentally friendly there, aren't we?
You are,
yeah. And you can even plant something onto those, worries that you've planted. If you plant seeds there, something will grow, something lovely and beautiful will grow from those worries. I think actually physically writing them and then getting rid of them is a really good way, definitely. What other techniques have we got?
Well, we've got relaxation,
Yeah.
which I think we've done, or we're going to be doing some videos.
We are, yeah. We're going to do some relaxation videos
that you can tune
Yeah.
into. So if you are struggling with anxiety and worry, then relaxation is a really good way.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes just some really simple breathing techniques. So just I'm getting into
I'm just getting into the zone
into the zone now. So just simply start just being aware of your own breathing. So putting one hand at the top of your chest and one down on your stomach, and you just taking some deep and slow breaths, and just become really aware of your in breaths and your out breaths. And it's nice and slow. Might be if you put some nice quiet music on in the background and do this just for a short while. Just helps centre yourself. It just helps remind you that you're about just concentrating on that breathing. It just almost works as a calming thing, and that can just is a really quick thing. And if this was in the waiting room, I've always also got my calming hand as well. So where if you just sat quietly, you could just be moving your fingers up and down, one hand to the other, just really gently. If you're a lady, put a bit of hand cream on and just be gently putting a bit of hand cream on, and you're just concentrating instead of thinking about other stuff. Now I'm just really aware of that touch of me moving my fingers up and down.
That's a bit like the M technique that the
it is a little bit like the M
therapists do.
technique, but it's something you obviously would do just for yourself quietly, and you could do that at home, or you could quite discreetly do that in a waiting room without anyone really realising what you're doing.
One
So
of my
that's a really
breathing
nice
ones for a waiting room is, and you might have already watched one of my mindful videos, if not, look out for them. But it's where you imagine there's a balloon in your tummy. So rather than having your hands here, you can imagine a balloon in your tummy. And as you breathe in, you're filling the balloon, and as you breathe out, you're deflating the balloon. And you're concentrating on this balloon.
Yeah.
So fill the balloon, deflate the balloon, fill the balloon, deflate the balloon. So that's a good one for waiting rooms, because you can just imagine that. I'm getting comfortable
I was
now.
going to say I'm getting quite
relaxed
now.
But just to imagine a balloon here, and each time you breathe in, you're inflating the balloon, and each time you're breathing out, you're deflating the balloon. And that's really good, because nobody knows that you're doing that in a waiting room, do you? It's quite a simple technique. So relaxation, or progressive muscle relaxation, which I'm going to do a video for that.
I think I'm going to do one of my nature walk ones. So
and I'm going to do a mindful walk for you. So we're going to be doing lots of different little video clips for you for lots of different things, but they can help with anxiety as well. So one of mine is called 5 Things, and that's the 5 things that you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things that you can feel, 2 things that you can hear, something like that, 1 thing that you can taste. And if you want any sort of, I'm just thinking, because we've got little cards, so we've got stock technique cards, or we've got little 5 thing cards. If anybody wants any of those kind of things, or even, oops, I'm looking at it now.
Here's something I prepared earlier.
It's like Blue Peter, isn't it?
It is.
So this is Jeanette's booklet on anxiety. And if you want one of these, you can email us and let us know, and we can post them out to you.
Or you can ring the hospice and they'll take a message at reception and let one of us know and what it is that you're after. And we would understand the message if that came our way. So you can have one of Jeanette's anxiety booklets.
One of Jeanette's booklets, or you can even ask us for a CD, because we've got relaxation CDs.
They are readily available if you're quite a tech person and you've got YouTube and Google or Spotify, anything like that. If you Google relaxation music, then there are quite a few out there that you can, they're free to use.
There's quite a lot. If you've got a smartphone, there's lots of different apps that you can download that'll do it. But if you're not tech savvy and you do want a CD, then then let us know, because I'm sure there's a member of staff that maybe lives in your area that can drop one off on the way home, or we can pop one in the post, or if you want one of these, again, we can either drop one off through your letterbox, no contact of course, or we can post one out to you. But also keep an eye on all the videos that we're going to be doing, because there'll be lots of, we can do an anxiety part 2.
We can, yeah.
We don't want to do a bit more intense.
We don't want to bombard you in one session, do we really?
No,
you know.
no.
So
And we still want you to give you the kind of, the thing that you get here, which is that little bit of banter between the staff, and that fun and that relaxing element to it as well. So we don't want it all to be about us telling you what to do.
No.
We want to smile and laugh with you as well.
Yeah.
Because we miss
We
you.
do. We miss seeing everybody, and we miss being in the day services lounge, and
and our groups, and just all of us being together, and hopefully, fingers crossed,
it won't be long.
we hope. We hope so. But I think we're going to say that that's it for today. Do you think?
I think so.
Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us and watching, and keep an eye out for our next video that we'll do together.
Soon,
Coming soon, just for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye bye.